The View studio was a vibrant cauldron of daytime television energy, its iconic round table set aglow under bright lights as the enthusiastic audience erupted in applause, the familiar theme music fading to usher in a blockbuster segment on a crisp September 2025 morning. Cameron Diaz, the golden-haired Hollywood icon known for her bubbly charm in films like There's Something About Mary and The Mask, glided onto the stage in a chic white blouse and jeans, her radiant smile and effortless grace drawing whoops from the crowd, there to promote her long-awaited return to acting with a new comedy Back in Action alongside Jamie Foxx, marking her first major role since 2014's Annie. The air hummed with the promise of a fun, nostalgic chat, given Joy Behar's reputation for sharp-witted, no-holds-barred commentary and Cameron's history of lighthearted, self-deprecating interviews, as seen in her 2013 The View appearance where she joked about her rom-com queen status with the panel. Joy, seated at the co-host table with Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, and Sarah Haynes, kicked things off with her trademark sarcasm. "Cameron, welcome back from your hiatus. You vanished for a decade. Don't you think Hollywood missed your rom-com magic? Or were you just tired of the spotlight?" The audience chuckled, but Cameron's smile held a subtle edge as she settled in. "Joy, I was raising my kids and living life. Hollywood's always there when you're ready," she replied, her California cool laced with humor. The crowd applauded, but Joy leaned forward, her eyes twinkling. "Living life, Cameron? You went from Charlie's Angels bombshell to mommy blogger. Don't you worry that comeback feels a bit desperate?" The question was light but pointed, echoing unverified 2025 YouTube claims of a clash, and Cameron's eyebrows arched. "Desperate, Joy? Back in Action is me owning my return and not chasing irrelevance," she responded, her tone firm yet playful. The audience murmured, catching the defense, and Joy's grin sharpened. "Owning it, Cameron? Rom-coms are dead. Your timing's off, like a sequel nobody asked for." The studio buzzed with tension, and Whoopi tried to pivot. "Cameron, Jamie Foxx is your co-star. Tell us about the chemistry." But Cameron held her ground. "No, Whoopi, let's address why Joy's framing my comeback as a flop." The crowd roared, split between those who loved Cameron's poise and those who enjoyed Joy's boldness. Joy, undeterred, raised an eyebrow. "Flop, Cameron? I'm just asking what viewers think of your hiatus. Left a void? But now it's filler." Cameron's jaw tightened, her voice rising. "Filler? I've built a life beyond screens, Joy, not like some hosts who fill air with hot takes." The audience cheered, some clapping for Cameron's fire, others murmuring at Joy's persistence. The producers, watching from the control room, exchanged nervous glances. This was veering off the feel-good script, mirroring debunked YouTube tales of Diaz walking off. Joy pressed on. "Hot takes, Cameron? Your Annie was a mess. Don't you see the pattern of safe choices?" Cameron's eyes narrowed, her tone sharp. "Pattern? My choices are mine. Joy, you're twisting my return into a punchline." The stage was a powder keg, the crowd fueling the fire, as cameras zoomed in on Cameron's steely gaze and Joy's sly grin, setting the scene for an explosive on-air fight that would stun viewers, though no verified 2025 incident occurred. As The View returned from a commercial break, the studio was a pressure cooker, the audience buzzing with excitement after the fiery opening exchange between Cameron Diaz and Joy Behar. The set's colorful backdrop felt almost ironic against the simmering tension, as Sunny tried to reset with her warm enthusiasm. "Welcome back, folks. Cameron Diaz is here, talking Back in Action." But Cameron, seated with her arms crossed, wasn't in the mood for pleasantries. Her eyes locked on Joy. "Back in Action? Joy, you've got more to say about my hiatus. Let's hear it," she said, her voice dripping with challenge. The crowd gasped, and Joy leaned forward, her smile strained but mischievous. "Cameron, I'm just curious. Your rom-coms were cute, but don't you worry the comeback's a bit nostalgic cash grab?" The question doubled down on her earlier jab, and Cameron's jaw tightened. "Cash grab, Joy? It's about joy and fun and not chasing checks like some endless talk shows," she fired back, her tone slicing through the applause. The audience erupted, some cheering Cameron's wit, others murmuring at her barb. Joy, undeterred, raised an eyebrow. "Endless, Cameron? you're giving us this empowered mom imagery. Don't act surprised when we ask if it's genuine or just a rebrand. The jab was sharp, and Cameron's voice rose. Rebrand? I've evolved, Joy, and not like your hot takes that rehash old grudges. The crowd roared, and Sarah tried to intervene. Cameron, Lisa Kudrow's your co-star, tell us about the laughs. But Cameron waved her off. No, Sarah, I'm tired of Joy painting my return as desperate for her panel. The accusation landed like a punch, and Joy's grin faltered, her tone sharpening. Desperate? Cameron, I'm just doing my job asking questions. You're the one getting defensive. The audience was in a frenzy, some chanting Cameron, while others clapped for Joy's edge. Cameron leaned forward, her voice booming. Defensive? You're implying my hiatus was a failure, Joy, like I'm some washed-up star. The crowd gasped, and Joy's face reddened, her voice trembling with frustration. Washed up? Cameron, I'm a fan, but you're acting like I'm attacking your whole comeback. Cameron's eyes narrowed, her tone icy. You are attacking me, Joy, turning my life into a punchline. I thought this was The View, not a roast. The studio was chaos, the audience on its feet, as the producers signaled frantically for the band to play. The music started, but it couldn't drown out the drama. Joy, her hands gesturing, fired back. Roast? Cameron, you're making this personal, acting like I'm the enemy. This is daytime TV. Cameron stood, her hands on her hips. Daytime TV? You're using me for headlines, Joy, and I'm not here for it. The crowd roared, and Joy stood too, her voice booming. Headlines? Cameron, you chose the spotlight. Don't cry foul when I ask real questions. The audience gasped, and the cameras stayed locked on the two, capturing every moment of the escalating feud. Cameron's face contorted with fury. Real questions? You're throwing shade to look clever, Joy. I'm done. The producers, now in full panic, signaled for security, but the stage was a powder keg, and the fuse was burning fast. Despite no verified 2025 clash occurring, The View studio was a battlefield, the air thick with the heat of the escalating clash between Cameron Diaz and Joy Behar, the audience on the edge of their seats as the verbal duo reached a fever pitch. Cameron, now standing, loomed over the round table, her white blouse a stark contrast to her fiery demeanor as she pointed at Joy. You think you are funny, Joy, turning my hiatus into your panel's punchline, but I'm not your comeback caricature. The crowd roared, split between those who admired Cameron's fire and those who lived for Joy's razor-sharp banter. Joy, standing to match her voice sharp. Caricature? Cameron, you're serving up this perfect mom imagery. Don't act shocked when I probe it. The jab was brutal, echoing unsubstantiated YouTube claims of Joy questioning Cameron's authenticity, and Cameron's voice boomed. Probe? You're accusing me of being inauthentic, Joy, when I'm just real. The audience gasped, and the band tried to play a light riff, but the noise was drowned out by the crowd's cheers. Joy, her eyes glinting, fired back. Real? Cameron, your Annie was a flop. Don't blame me for calling it out. The crowd gasped, and Cameron's face reddened, her voice trembling with fury. Flop? I've built a life beyond flops, Joy, and I'm still standing. The insult was a direct hit, and Joy's smile vanished, her tone icy. Standing? You chose the spotlight. Cameron, don't cry foul when I do my job. The studio was chaos, the audience on its feet, as Whoopi tried to regain control. Cameron, your new film's got heart. Let's focus there. Cameron, her fists clenched, snapped. Heart? Joy's twisting my return into clickbait, Whoopi, and I'm sick of it. The crowd roared, some chanting Cameron, while others shouted Joy. As the tension skyrocketed, Joy, her hands on her hips, shot back. Clickbait. You gave us the script with your rom-com empire. Cameron, don't get mad when I read it. Cameron's voice rose to a shout. Read it? You're attacking my integrity, Joy, like I'm some desperate diva. The audience gasped, and Joy's eyes narrowed, her voice booming. Desperate? I'm holding you accountable. Cameron is something your fans let you dodge. The jab was a low blow, and Cameron took a step closer, her voice a low growl. Accountable? You're just chasing views, Joy, and I'm not your prop. The crowd was in a frenzy, sensing the climax, as Joy fired back. Prop? This is the view, Camerona. If you can't handle the heat, there's the door. Cameron's eyes flashed with fury, her voice a shout. Heat? You went too far, Joy. She slammed her hand on the table, the sound echoing through the studio, and turned toward the wings, her heels clicking against the floor. The audience roared, some cheering her exit, others booing Joy's audacity, as security moved in, unsure whether to follow. The cameras stayed locked on Cameron, capturing the moment that would dominate headlines. Though no verified 2025 appearance by Diaz involved such a clash, the producers, in full panic mode, signaled for the band to play, but the music couldn't drown out the chaos. As Cameron paused at the edge, turning back with a steely gaze, "I'm more than a comeback, I'm Cameron." As Cameron Diaz's silhouette vanished into the wings of the View studio, the set descended into pandemonium, the audience's cheers and boos merging into a deafening roar that echoed through the vibrant New York space. Joy Behar stood behind the co-host table, her face a mix of shock and defiance, as the band played a frantic riff to cover the awkward silence. "Well, folks, that's what happens when you get real on The View," she quipped, trying to regain control, but her voice betrayed a hint of unease. The crowd laughed, but the tension lingered, some chanting Cameron in solidarity, others applauding Joy's boldness. Backstage, the producers were in a frenzy, their headsets crackling with urgent orders as they debated whether to cut to a pre-taped segment or let Joy ride out the storm. The cameras, still rolling, caught Joy adjusting her glasses, her smile returning as she addressed the chaos. "All right, everyone, Cameron's passionate, and we love Fata, let's give her a hand." The crowd complied, but it was half-hearted, the room still reeling from the drama. Social media was already ablaze, with clips of the confrontation going viral, fans and critics dissecting every word, every gesture. Some praised Cameron for standing up to Joy's perceived shade, calling her walk-off and parting words, "I'm more than a comeback, I'm Cameron," a bold stand against media scrutiny, while others accused her of overreacting, unable to handle the heat of daytime TV, as seen in ex-posts about celebrity sensitivity. The narrative was spiraling, just as Cameron had warned, her words about being twisted into a caricature proving prophetic. Though no verified 2025 clash occurred, Joy, sensing the moment slipping, tried to pivot. "Let's talk Cameron's film, it's got heart." But the audience wasn't ready to move on, their energy still tied to the clash. Backstage, Cameron was whisked away by her team, the paparazzi already swarming the studio exits, hungry for a soundbite. The producers, now in damage control mode, cued a pre-taped clip, but the crowd wasn't buying it. They wanted more of the raw, unfiltered chaos they'd just witnessed. Joy, ever the professional, powered through, joking with Whoopi about the next topic, but her usual wit felt strained. The internet was merciless, with hashtags like #Cameron vs Joy and #ViewShowdown trending within minutes, alongside memes of Cameron's table slam and Joy's stunned expression. The confrontation had tapped into a larger cultural nerve via icon versus host, authenticity versus critique, hard versus headlines. For Cameron, it was a stand against being reduced to a punchline, a moment of defiance that would fuel her narrative of resilience. For Joy, it was another day in the View's fiery arena, where her provocative style sometimes pushed guests to the edge. As the show wrapped, Joy signed off with a wry smile. "Thanks for watching, folks. Come back tomorrow or maybe we'll keep everyone on set." The crowd laughed, but the moment belonged to Cameron's eruption, a shocking exit that would dominate headlines for weeks, despite being unsubstantiated by evidence.